I recently published a review of the city building game Tower Up, on which I lavished much praise, while also pointing out that the game didn't feel like it had anything really new in it. It all felt very familiar. It was just this particular recipe of components really grabbed me, had great gameplay, it was very engaging. It wasn't new, but it was really good. It was just the right thing that you want to play. Now, I also had that experience when I played Flip 7, a card game by Eric Olson and the Op. It did not feel new in any way. It's a press your luck card game. There's been lots of press your luck card games. There have been games similar to this one, and yet this also has proved to be highly engaging. Let me tell you why. Flip 7 consists of a deck of 94 cards. To set up, shuffle the deck, and then for the first round, deal each player one card, and the game will last as many rounds as is required until someone has at least 200 points, at which time the player with the most points wins. To set up a round, you deal each player one card, and then the game begins. So on a turn, a player can hold and score as many points as the sum of the numbers in front of them, or they can ask for a hit. You'll deal out a card and add it to their collection. Now, the deck contains 12 12s, 11 11s, 10 10s, and so on down to 1 1 and 1 0, in addition to a few special cards. And if you are dealt a card that you already have in front of you, you bust and score nothing for the round. So if you hit with a 10, there you go. You're good. You've got 15 points sitting in front of you. Next player goes. Turns are fast. You just usually hit the table, flip, flip. The odds of hitting on a 5, of getting another 5 are pretty low. 10 could still happen. Now again, bank or hit. Bank or hit. And at this, oh, this guy bust. All right, nothing. That was it for the round. This guy may look at that. There's 2 12s out here. There's 10 more in the deck. Maybe I just stay. 17, I'm good. This guy, hit. Hit. Ah, they bust 2. This guy would have been okay if he had hit, because he would have got 11. This guy would have got a 12. But you never know what's going to happen with how the cards come out. So this guy already stopped. This guy can keep going or quit with 30 points. They'd definitely be in the lead if they're a bit of a gambler. All right. 38 points. One reason to keep going, in addition to just scoring more points for having more numbers in front of you, is that if you flip 7 different numbers in front of you, you get a bonus of 15 points. The round ends immediately for everyone, and you score the sum of this and 15 more points. So let's say we stop here at 38, 17, nothing, nothing. That was it. First round. You would pass the deck to the next person. They become the new dealer. They deal out 1 card to each person. And you continue. Hit, 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 and so on. Let's see if we can get some special cards here. The 0. This counts as a number in front of you. It doesn't add to your score, but it is. Now you've got 3 different numbers in front of you. We're going to have no special cards. Can't teach the game without special cards. Oh, look at this. All these people are wild. They keep flipping. This person's going to stop. They'll go. All right. Some cards just have +4. You know, +2, +4, up to +10. There's also a doubler. So this does not count as one of the 7 numerals that you have in front of you, but it does add 4 points to your score. It just means you don't bust if you flip over a 4. What else do we have? There's a doubler. Okay. And so on. All right, let's see what else we have here, because clearly we need to get some of the special cards. We have Second Chance. If you flip that in... If you flip any of the special cards, you assign them to a player. Second Chance, you want to assign to yourself, because if you have this in front of you and you would bust, you throw away the Second Chance card and the card that would cause you to bust. So you have this in front of you, you are always hitting. Okay. Other cards. There is Freeze. You put that in front of someone else and they are done for the round. They must stop even if they want to continue. Okay. If everyone is out of the round and you draw freeze, you must freeze yourself and you are done for the round. Too bad if you wanted to go on. Finally, we have Flip 3. Again, you can keep this yourself or you can assign it to someone else. Maybe I get the Flip 3 and I want to assign it to this person. Even though they've got a second chance, they must flip over 3 cards. Boom. And their second chance will not save them from busting. because even if they throw away the 11, they have duplicates as well. They score nothing for the round. They are done. And then I stop maybe with my wonderful score here. 18, 26, 52 points. There we go. Add that up. That's it. You pass the deck, you keep going, you keep track of score, the score on paper in your iPhone, smartphone, Android, whatever you want to do it with, and you keep going until someone hits 200 points. If you need to shuffle the deck, you do once it's out. So in theory, you could be tracking all of the numbers that are coming up. There's 3 of each special card. There are, of course, 11 11s. If you're sitting with this in front of you and you've seen 6 11s pass, you weigh the odds. What are the odds of getting another 11? I'm going to hit again. I didn't count the 12s. Busted. So you could, in theory, track all of those numbers, but in all the games I've played, I have not seen that yet. Also, things go pretty fast. Again, you're just hit, hit, hit. If you get assigned a special action card at the start of the round. So the round is beginning, you get dealt a freeze, you immediately assign that to someone. Could be you, could be someone else. Typically, who's got the most points? Yep, now you're frozen, you're out for the round, done. You get a second chance, well, you just hold on to that. If you get a second chance, you have to assign it to someone else, assuming there's someone still in the round. If not, you throw it away. Get flip 3, assign it to yourself or someone else. So you resolve those special action cards as soon as they're flipped over, even if that's the first card that you receive. And sometimes you get hosed, right? You get a freeze, you're done for the round. Well, that's too bad. There'll be lots of rounds in the game. Hopefully you'll get a chance to freeze someone else. Appropriately enough, I played Flip 7 7 times so far on a copy borrowed from the BGG library, a copy given to us by the Op Games at Gen Con 2024. I played with 3, 4, and 5 players. The official player count is 2 to 8. Can't ever imagine wanting to play with 2 players. The thrill of the game is really watching other people bust, in addition to you trying to press your luck. It is a game in which you barely affect other people due to the special action cards, but you get to watch them, encourage them, cheer them on, try to get them to bust, all the usual things in a press your luck game. Now, the gameplay, as I mentioned, is very familiar. You have a Circus Fliccati, a Reiner Knizia design, in which you're flipping up cards onto the table, although it's in a shared pool, and if you flip a color that is already present in the pool, well then you throw away that card and you lose your turn. So you get nothing on your turn, similar to Flip 7. And Reiner Knizia also has Cheeky Monkey that was later evolved into No Mercy. This is another game with a deck of numbered cards. On your turn, you are flipping up cards only in front of you. If you flip a number that someone else has, you steal those cards. If you flip up a number that you have in front of you, you bust, and all those cards are thrown away. So again, very familiar. I did a video on No Mercy, put up a link there if you want to check it out. Really enjoy that game, really enjoy Circus Fliccati, like Cheeky Monkey, like all of those. And I like this as well. It is similar and yet different. The rules are so extremely minimal, less so than Circus Fliccati, less so than No Mercy. You can explain in under a minute and you get going. You just shuffle the deck, deal a card to each person. In the first round that I play with people, if they are not familiar with the game, if I give them an action card, I just put it right in the middle of the deck and I keep going until they get a number card. I just want to start with number cards, go with that, and then we'll introduce the action cards as they come up. I like to introduce at the simplest version of a game possible, just to get going at that basic level and then add more in as things come. And this game works perfectly as one that you can explain while you play, just like I did explaining to you. There's almost nothing to it, and yet, again, highly engaging, mostly because people get to bust. There's all sorts of unusual things that come up where someone will have a 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and you're like, why are they still going? They're definitely going to bust. And yet they push anyway. It just depends upon the personality of the player. That often comes out. Are they judging what other people are doing? Are they really calculating where their score is relative to other people and whether they should be pushing more or whether they're just going for it anyway because they like to gamble? I've had situations in which a player busted on 3s. I busted on 2s once. There's only 2 2s in the deck. And I got the second one. What were the odds? I mean, you can calculate the odds, but I don't care. I'm not calculating the odds. What are the odds? ridiculous. And yet, okay, good situation, very memorable, right? Came at a good moment, kept the game going because I was in the lead and then I busted out. So, okay, other people could climb back up. You do have a bit of calculation once you get to the end game because the game ends the round that someone has 200 or more points, but you complete the entire round. So often people are looking at the scores and then trying to see, okay, I need 11 points to get to 200. Okay, I flip an 8. I'm going to go again. I'm not going to just stick with an 8 unless people are really far down. I want to go up above. And then once you get above 200, you're looking and seeing like, what do other people have in front of them? How close were they to catching me? What would they need to flip? And so on. Little calculations mostly at the end of the game. But otherwise, people just sort of roll with it. Sometimes lately considering what their score is relative to other people. At least that's been my experience. They're not calculating the odds of every single card that could come up, which you could do, but I don't think that'd be too enjoyable. So again, the only downside to Flip 7, aside from, okay, the ridiculous slogan, the greatest card game of all time. I mean, self-ascribed, but clearly that's innovation. Innovation is the greatest card game of all time. Flip 7, no. I'd scratch this out except it's a library copy. But what's annoying about Flip 7, aside from that slogan, is that this is the box. And these are the cards. So they barely fill any space in the box. I mean, you could cut this down. This is a library copy, so I can't do that. You could cut it down and get something much smaller. But what was weird, at Gen Con 2024, if you bought something from the op, which I did, I bought Da Da Da. Well, when you bought something, they gave you a free copy of Tableau 10 and a promotional version of Flip 7, which I have not opened because it is a tuck box. Oh, yeah. Normally I was having trouble opening it. But there you go. It is the exact same deck as what comes in the larger box. It's just smaller. And it's labeled promotional edition. And why isn't the game just sold like this? I mean, I understand why it's not sold like this, because this has more shelf space. This is going to get marketed more. This is going to be pushed at a Barnes & Noble, which I think is where it's available at now in the United States. More than this. This is not in your face. This is not something that a retailer will get behind and push as much because it is less visible. You kind of need something to match what the price is, and this is much more. It's going to look like a bargain compared to this, even though you're getting the same components inside. I know why publishers do these things. I know why retailers like these things. But of course, as a gamer, this is what I'm going to keep. My free version of the game that I got with purchase of Da Da Da. And the other one will go back to the BGG library, where it'll float around in a box, possibly bagged up. I might not bag it. I might just ship it back this way. We'll see.